So many times people come to me and they say, Stacey, how did you get into health and healing? And I tell them basically my story. And my story is when I was 5, I had a virus and an ear infection. The virus had traveled to my brain and it caused encephalitis. I was in a coma for 4 days. They told my parents most likely I'll be paraplegic or I'll have severe brain damage. Well, my parents were blown away by it. And I remember while I was in a coma, my father had told me that he prayed by my bedside and he was praying that I would be okay. And in Greece, he came from an island called Chios. It was one island, one school, one church, one everything. And he was thinking about the church that he went to. And there was a statue right next to the church, and it was known to have teardrops come from his eyes. And when my father was praying, he looked up and a teardrop rolled from my eyes. I woke up from being in a coma and I asked him for McDonald's French fries. And I wasn't paraplegic and I didn't have severe brain damage, but I was left with epilepsy. Till this day, they don't know where the scar tissue damage is, but it left me with a disorder that was an ongoing battle for me. Life was like a roller coaster ride, especially when I got to college, and the late night studying, the stress of getting good grades. My seizures went through the roof. And I got to a point where I didn't even know if I was actually going to be able to do this. And it was on my bucket list. I wanted to go to college. I had this dream of becoming someone special. And I just remember one day I just wrote a letter. And back then, before the computers, they had magazines. And the Epilepsy Foundation had a magazine. And I asked them to publish my article. And I asked people, how do you cope with epilepsy? How do you get through life with this disorder? And to my surprise, 300 to 400 letters came from all over Canada and America. And people shared their stories and poured out their hearts to me and told me how they live with epilepsy and how they deal with it. And for the first time in my life, I felt like I wasn't alone. And it really meant a lot to me. I put together a regiment and I put those letters aside and I said, one day I'm going to write a book and I'm going to help others like these letters helped me. And I went by that regiment that I created for myself with the advice of all these people. And I got through college, I graduated, I started working in the city, I had the dream job of my life. And one day I was walking and I was in the hall and I felt a seizure coming on. There was nowhere to hide, there was nowhere to go, and a lot of times when I would have a seizure, I would hide somewhere so people wouldn't see me have the seizure because I didn't like the attention. And I fell to the ground and I was frozen, conscious, but I couldn't look and couldn't do anything. And I remember an executive just stepping over me and he kept walking and he made it like I was a piece of garbage, like I wasn't even there. And I couldn't believe that he didn't stop to help me. Shortly after, I was released from my position and I just walked out of there with my head up high. I wasn't going to let it get me down. I said, one day I will become a success. And I used that mantra in my head, one day, one day. And I started my own little freelance writing business, and I started to work with all these different professionals, doing their work for them. Then one day I met an herbalist and he said he needed a lot of research and writing done on holistic living. And I started to do all this reading and writing and all this research. And I said, wow, a lot of these things could help me. And so I started applying a lot of these things to my life. I changed my whole way of living. I learned how to handle stress differently. I just did a whole 360. And then my seizures went from 12 to 9 to 8, 7, 6, 5 to the point where they became controlled. And I wanted to share it with the world. I ended up creating my own blog, and right away 400 people came to the blog, and I was like, wow, 400 people. And then I created a website, and then it grew to 10,000, and then I created the website got even bigger, and it grew over 100,000 people. And then I created that book that I was telling you about. And I wrote that book, and I called it Epilepsy, You're Not Alone, because it made me realize how I felt inside. When all those people came out to help me, I realized that I wasn't alone. And I remember one day getting an email, and I opened up the email, and the person said, I found your book in Barnes & Nobles. I was on the verge of suicide, and I just want you to say thank you because you saved my life. right then and there, I realized how powerful the words of wisdom really is. And I knew this was my calling. I knew this was my purpose in life. And I realized that, working in the city and living the big life and all these other dreams that a young woman has in her younger days wasn't meant for me. And I focused my whole life on helping people. And I became an advocate. I helped in organizations. I started to write books. I wrote 20 books. Many of them were bestsellers. I started to focus on doing speaking events. I was on the Dr. Oz show for 5 or 6 times. I was on big radio shows and TV shows, and all I wanted to do was help people. And then I created this channel, and this channel is about health and healing. And my goal was the same thing that I created for my website. I wanted to create a website and a channel, a YouTube channel that people could go to learn how to help themselves. Because I believe if your mental health isn't stable, if there's something going on and affecting your mental health, then it affects you physically. If it affects you physically, 100% alone of stress causes illness to begin with. And so I knew that there was a connection between mental health and physical health, and you have to have good spiritual well-being in order to live a happy, healthy, and productive life. So those 3 components I felt were very important. So I based this channel on mental health, physical health, and spiritual well-being. Because my belief is that if you have those 3 components, you could be able to turn your life around and live your full potential. So I have people from all walks of life. I have doctors, I have coaches, I have different professionals who come and they share their knowledge, they share strategies, tools, and all different things that they feel are going to be beneficial for my listeners. And I hope that these videos help you as much as they help me, because I've learned a lot. If these people have come on my podcast, they have shared their own intimate stories, they have shared their motivations, they have shared their knowledge and their wisdom. And it's been a really positive thing in my life because I've helped so many people and I've got so much positive feedback. So I want to let you know, on this channel you can find anything from stress to insomnia to diabetes to anything you can think of that's health related, to regaining your spiritual well-being, to be able to help yourself mentally and with all different types of mental conditions, epilepsy, everything. So enjoy yourself, go through the channel, find and search for the conditions and for the things that you want to become and learn about. And also, if you want to learn about health and you just want to be able to turn your life around and turn your health around, you can also, type in and scroll through. And there's so many things, from how you feel with different conditions to different ways of eating better. It's all there. So have fun, have a ball, check it out, and please leave your comments in the comment box. I want to know what you think, and I want to do what's best for you. And if I could help you, it means a lot. So share with me what your thoughts are about this channel and tell me what you would like to see on this channel, because I would be more than happy to provide those things for you.